Quando ciò tanto che dena de shelo mo re girwa ka so da de da be che chora be be so ban do bra tum jen de do so sim ja dam ja lo sho son ro wa jin ja la do so che lam don ro wa jin ja la do so lam cho ba so wa jin ja la do so cho ba ye shu so cha wa jin ja la do so do be do jin ro wa jin ja la do so do ye shin ja do wa jin ja la do so da da tam la ka ba jin ja la do so da za don don da bra jin ja la do. Good morning, everybody. Okay, now we are starting the JOL Ornament of Liberation. We now completed about the cultivation of the bodhicitta. Now we are in the training of the bodhicitta meditation practice. So there are two different types of training. The training of the aspiration bodhicitta and the training of the action bodhicitta, action or so engagement bodhicitta. So now we are here now, the training of the action bodhicitta. In that there are 6 perfections, the 6 parameters. Within these 6 parameters we have completed first 2, the practice of generosity and moral ethics. Now, today we are here at the chapter 14, the perfection of patience. The perfection of the patience, from that, reflection on the faults and virtues or benefits, definition, classification, characteristics of each classification, increase, perfection, and result. So from this 7, we just finished the reflection on the false disadvantage of having not have the practice of patience, and the benefit of the having the practice of the patience. So those we have yesterday were completed. Let's see the definition, second one. If you ask, what's the definition of the practice of patience or forbearance? Said, the definition of patience is a feeling of ease, feeling of an ease, like that. So simplify, make it easy. No? So that's the practice of patience. So the Bodhisattva Bhumi says, a mind without confusion, see, no confusion, has a clear mind. And then with only a feeling of ease, oh, that's easy, not so difficult. Accompanied by compassion, see, that practice based on the compassion. So desire other to free from suffering. So in brief, one should understand that this is the definition of Bodhisattva's patience, forbearance. First, feeling of easiness, without confusion, based on compassion. So you say, take it easy, say, like that, no? So that's the first house start, the practice of patience. Now, the classification 3. Patience has three classification divisions, 3 divisions. A, the practice of feeling an ease toward someone harmful. When we encounter someone is harmful, creating obstacles. The B, the practice of the patience of accepting suffering. And the third, the C, patience and understanding the nature of Dharma. So you see, look at how carefully and skillfully designed. When we encounter the people, how to handle, especially harmful people. And the second, you say, when we encounter in our daily life, especially when we practice Dharma, going through suffering, different mental suffering. And the third is related to special Dharma. Sometimes Dharma is difficult, so that time how to practice patience. So everything covers here in the practice of patience. First, the A is one is practicing patience or forbearance by investigating the nature of the one who creates harm, who creates the obstacles, difficulties. The second, one who is practicing patience by investigating the nature of the suffering. So nature of the people, nature of the suffering. The third one is practicing patience by investigating the unmistakable nature of all phenomena, so all Dharma phenomena. Put another ways, if we just relate it to different from the different angle. The first two are practiced in the conventional state in our daily life. And the third one is practiced according to the ultimate state, or the reality nature. So this the three divisions of the practice of the patience. Now, therefore, the characteristics of each classification, each division. The A classification, practice patience toward those who bring you and your relative, friends, obstacle, or creating uneasy conditions, like by beating, bragging, just saying bad things about you, or hating you or no, and abuse you, and so forth. See, if somebody when you face these things, to yourself, to your family, to your friends, whoever whom you have good connections, when you encounter these obstacles, difficulties, suffering, what does it mean to practice patience? Now, when you encounter practice patience means, what does it mean? So how beautifully put this, you say. What means the practice of patience? This means not being disturbed. So your mind is not disturbed by this. First of all, means your peace of the mind. Your mind which is in the ease, peace, is not disturbed. Not retaliating and not retaliating back. And not holding resentment in the mind this is called practice of patience. So there are three things. Look at this way. It's not just being what's called. It's not just being ignoring those things. see these things clearly, what's happening. And because he said, not confused, you see. No confusion. See these things very clearly. But keep in the mind, there's the mind, the peace. And not starting immediately retaliating. Or not holding resentment. He said, in the future I will make problem back. Rather solve the problem without hurting to yourself, without hurting others. See? Now here I said all the methods put here. This related to the people, not different types of people when you see. According to Shantideva, you should investigate. So here she said, investigate. Means you have to follow what I said, not saying that. I'm giving these all suggestions. Now you should investigate how to handle that. See, so beautiful, you see. These different methods we can use. How to solve the problem. So first one, that those who harm you have no freedom. First look at that. It will explain step by step all those. That this harm is not the fault of your, that this harm is the fault of your own karma, or my own karma. Here you say my own karma is better, That this is the fault of my body, that this is the fault of my mind. That both have equal faults, those who are harming and those who are getting the harm. And then practice of patience benefit. What's the benefit is there? Feeling of having acknowledged the benefit, then feeling the gratitude. And then all the Buddhas are pleased with that. See? And that brings the great beneficial effects. So through these 9 topics, now we study step by step. Now here, just Gampopa mentioned briefly, according to Shantideva system. Now we can investigate, discuss more thoroughly, So this is not just being a fanciful mind, you understand? Fanciful mind. What that mean?
Imagining. Fancy, like.
Oh, fanciful mind. Oh.
Elaborated?
No.
Made up.
Fanciful mind is a fancy mind. It's okay. Not that. Not just being not based on reason. It's called fanciful mind. No. Just try to be nice without reason. Oh. So not just being a fanciful mind, rather based on reason. Why we have to practice this? See? So first, investigate that those who harm you have no freedom. So first, why they have no freedom? See? For example, just take example. Take someone like Devadatta, like a George, you can say, like a Steve, George, like those, bring that kind of person name, had no freedom to avoid harms. They have no freedom not to harm others. How? Why? due to the power of hatred. That individual is dominated by the mental afflicting emotion of hatred. When that rolls in the mind, the person has no freedom to hate, to beat, to kill. See? When hatred is present, means hatred is present in the mind now. Now look at our this is to our own practice. Since this relates to the practice of relation to the hatred, also like say desire, attachment. When that's present, all our freedom is taken by that. We have no freedom. That's what I'm saying. No freedom. That means, you see, it's present. One has no, power. One has no power not to dislike the object of the hatred. So when I see somebody doing something which I dislike, then hatred rises in my mind. Now I have no power not to dislike that person. I hate that person. See? Now I have no control of myself. Like a person who's drunk, no power to relax. Like that, now I'm a drunk of the hatred. I'm intoxicated by the hatred. See? So how beautiful you see. Just a few words. Therefore, since that person has no control, no control of the hatred, there's no reason to retaliate. So how you can retaliate? We hate back. It is said, now this is Shantideva's quotation, see. Hence, everything is governed by others' force. Means nothing has independent. Everything is interdependent. Like for example, when you put on the stove, the gas or the electricity, and you put the pot and the water in the pot, leave there, the water has no freedom not to boil because of the fire. See? See? The water has no freedom, you see? It's governed by the fire to boil. So like that, everything's depend on the other conditions. Like when you plant the seed under the ground and all the conditions there, the seed has no freedom not to grow. Beautiful, you see. Just by the other factors. And this way, nothing governs by itself. So no one is independent. Everything depends on others. Having understood this, now logically understand this. Understand this. I should not become angry with phenomena that are like apparition. Apparition is just manifestation. Just manifests to the art of the cause. Just like illusion. Like for a mirage, you see, when you see the mirage, you see the mirage because the cause is a condition. When there's a desert and the heat and then wind blows, you see the mirage. So like this, everything's like a mirage. So the person who is angry, he or she has no freedom, but the other force push to have that. So see like that, say, meditate, everything is just a manifestation. As soon as the other factors cease to exist, this cannot happen. Like when you put off the fire on the stove, the water will just stop to boiling. It's beautiful, isn't it? Really, you look at, see. So that's why you just meditate, appreciate this wisdom, and admire. Like wish everybody has this kind of teaching. This is nothing but this being a spiritual, you see. This is being a practical. Whatever you name it, you call it spiritual ethics or secular ethics, doesn't matter. You know, whatever you name it, it's just reality nature. So you practice this. Now second is investigating that this harm is the fault of your negative karma. So means this is not kind of making yourself a bad person, but how to accept, to solve the problem. This you see. In my previous lives, I have harmed others in the same way that I am now experiencing the harm. It's the result of my previous action that I'm getting. Not necessarily previous life, even this life, beginning of this life, or yesterday, or last year, or this morning. It could be anything. Therefore, since this is the fault of my own negative karma, my negative action, there's no reason to retaliate. I look at it and then see my negative karma action provoke the others to manifest this harm to me. So say, previously, as I mentioned, not necessarily previous life, even this life, I must have caused similar harm to other sentient beings. Therefore, it is right for this harm to be returned. So return to me. Who is the cause to me? Who is the cause of injury to others? I harm to others. So in a sense, they're saying, which goes round, comes round. So this is exactly what they're saying. So look at this and keep your mind calm. When the mind is boiling, like pouring cool water, relax. That's the solution of the problem. How to rest. Just how to relax. Now third, investigating that this harm is the fault of my body. You say my body. If I did not have this body, the other person would not have a target or place which to throw his weapons or stick or even saying bad things word. If the person is in front of you, then there's no reason to fight. Or use all the bad words. Therefore, since it is due to my having this body that I receive this harm, there's no reason to retaliate. Just meditate. As is said, both weapon and my body. Here, weapon, anything, knife, gun, anything, and my body are the causes of my suffering. My body here, and other person's weapon, a stick, anything, or any bad words that I hear, so both are the cause. Both are the causes to suffering. Since he gave rise to the weapon, and I to the body. Myself, I created this body. With whom should I be angry? Should I be angry with my body because my body is hurt? Or should I be angry with this is a weapon because he hurt? Which one should be I'm angry? So look at. So this is how to release attachment. And practice this patience. How to just wait, how to keep the mind calm. And practice the compassion. The other one is doing, as earlier mentioned, he is doing that out of his confusion, out of his mental afflictive emotion. So develop such a strong compassion. Now he is the creating the negative karma. You see, I become a condition. Him or her now create the karma, negative karma. Oh, why I should be so angry? So develop this compassion, concern. That's what's called practice of patience. No.
Sorry I have to ask this question, but I'm confused. If somebody is coming at me with a knife,
Yes.
very close,
Yes.
I think I should defend myself.
Yes, of course. You depend. What is he saying is a mental practice, you see. It's not saying don't defend here. You can defend yourself, saying, don't kill me. Get out of here. You do things whatever is possible. But in the mind, by being angry doesn't solve the problem, say now here.
At that moment, I need to do what I need to do.
Yes, exactly.
To push
Yes.
him away or
Yes,
push him.
yes, just let him go, I'll push away. But in your mind, how to practice this, see? This is how to prepare your mind. And in best case, then say, you take me, Such a powerful bodhicitta, you see, as I mentioned other day, the practice of the generosity, the many levels of the practice, you see. First you protect yourself. Mentally, keep calm like these practices, you see. Keep your mind in the right place. Do all things what is necessary to protect yourself. But mentally develop compassion, sense of concern. So just as mentioned, it's not just a fanciful mind, rather it's how to create a situation on the basis of reason. See? See. Now investigate that this harm is the fault of your mind. I hurt. When you say, I got hurt, means it's hurt your mind. Now it is saying here, I do not regard this excellent body as something that can easily tolerate others' harm. I have not prepared so I can tolerate whatever comes in me. No, I'm not practicing how to tolerate, how to take the conditions. So instead, you see, I hold it as a very fragile, easy to hurt, and not prepared to accept that. See, fragile, inferior body, because I attach to this body so much. Therefore, it is susceptible to harm. It's very easy to hurt. It becomes a place to hurt easily. Since the harm is caused by mind, so this is my problem with the mind. I created that. I didn't develop my mind, a courageous mind. No. Therefore, is no reason to retaliate, as it is said. Say, if in blind attachment I cling, you see, with blind attachment I cling to myself. To this suffering, abscess of the human form, very easy to hurt when there's some wound, abscess what's called? Abscess is a special wound. Is very easy, I hold my bodies like that. Which can bear to be touched. Which cannot bear to be touched. With whom should I be angry when it is hurt? So I have not prepared, I have not practiced to accept the harm to this body. Instead, I attach to this and become so sensitive when anybody hurts me. Then it becomes the basis of the suffering. Do you remember that last time when I gave talk on the Samsara Nirvana? 2 years ago? The body is the basis of the samsara. You forgot it. Body, the center of the samsara, what I said there in that book, you see. Why it is so, because first of all, confusion. And then the confusion, ignorance, afflictive emotions, we create karma, cause. That afflictive emotions, the karma cause, together, combination as a factory, and produce this body. Because having body, of course, body is not alone, but with this, all these mental imprints, all those things. Now, because the body, we suffer at the time of birth, when we age, when we get sick. The mind, do you think your mind can get sick? That's kind of mental problem, but there's a different. But our afflictive emotions never get sick, and never age, you see. But the body age, body gets sick, and finally body die, you see. And then we need house because the body. We need heat because the body. We need air conditioning because the body. We need car, television, internet, all those things because the body. So the body is the basis of all this suffering now. All the material things that we develop for the body, isn't it? So look at this, So they say, see this nature. Meditate. I'm not saying the body is bad, but due to all these factors, you see, we create that. Then we're attached to that. We're so entangled with that, the anchor of the samsara. So look at this, So there's a mind that my mind is not prepared. My mind holds this body as very sensitive and attached to that. And then all the harms that I got, it manifests very easily. So I should look at it as, just look at it from distance. Then the 5, investigate the both have equal faults. The person who's harming me and we both have the same kind of faults. As is said, should one person ignorantly do wrong? So one person does it ignorantly, harming others or harming me. That person is ignorantly harming me. I have no reason to get harm. He or she does it because through the ignorance. Then, and another ignorantly become angry with him. Now I'm so angry because I'm ignorant. So both are ignorant. Who would be at fault? Now who's the fault? Who's not fault? And who would be without fault? Let's look at this. We both are based on the ignorance, not understanding. Look at this. This is now saying not at the superficial level, deep in down, underneath the root cause of the problem. Therefore, be cautious with the faults and mistake and practice patience. We understand carefully and not to give rise to anger, hatred, resentment. Keep your mind calm. That's what we can get the benefit from. 6th, investigating the benefit one receives. If I practice patience or forbearance with a harmful one who's harming to me, the evil deeds will be purified through this practice of patience. I get such a great opportunity. Not let my mind be angry, upset. Keep my mind and practice the compassion. And I purify all the sufferings that I am going through. So I will perfect the accumulation by purifying evil deeds and will attain enlightenment by perfecting the accumulations. Then I will accumulate merit, wisdom. By the perfection of this accumulation, I will achieve enlightenment. Therefore, the person who harms me is in reality a great benefactor. Without invitation, I got this benefit. See, no? So I should practice patience. So that's why I should practice patience. As it said, in dependence upon them, and the person who harms me, depending on that, I purify my evils, my negative deeds, negative actions, by patiently accepting the harms that they cause and so forth. So I purify all my negative deeds by practicing the patience. So I'm so grateful. So next is coming that same, investigating gratitude. See, without the practice, without the perfection of patience, the achievement of enlightenment is not possible. See, we have to perfect practice of generosity, moral ethics, patience. So without that perfection, there's no way to achieve enlightenment. Without the harmful one, I cannot practice patience. You see, person is so very kind to me, helpful, what all I need. I no need practice patience. But the person who is harming me, then I get opportunity to practice patience. See, therefore, this harmful person is a Dharma friend. Is real Dharma friend, to whom I'm grateful. See? So I practice patience. Because of that reason, I practice the patience. It is said by Shantideva, I should be happy to have an enemy, for he or she assists me in my conduct of awakening, become a special cause to achieve enlightenment. And because I am able to practice patience with him or her, he is worthy of being given the very first fruit of my patience. What's the fruit of the patience?
Ease.
Huh?
Ease.
Huh?
Ease.
Ease. Huh? Compassion. Compassion, you can have compassion without practice patience. Say patience, for this way he is the cause of it. So tell me, what's the result of the practice of patience?
Feeling of ease.
Huh?
Feeling of ease.
Killing a beat? Oh,
Love it, kind.
evil deeds.
Angry feelings of ease.
No, feelings of ease is the definition of the practice of patience. Now, what's the result of the practice of the patience?
Enlightenment.
Oh, that's the saying here that. I achieved enlightenment because I perfected the practice of the patience. See, so he is the one who caused me problem, and then I got a chance to practice patience. Because of his contribution, it gave me such great support. I become Buddha. So first I have to give teachings to him before anybody else.
To the enemy.
Oh,
To the enemy.
and that's what happened, you see. When Buddha, not as became Buddha, before became Buddha, as a Bodhisattva, he was as a Bodhisattva practicing Dharma. And then he went to, actually he was a brother of a king, but he didn't want to stay in the kingdom. So he went to the mountain, meditate for many years, and nobody knows where he was. Nobody recognized who he was. He was such in a solitude place. So one day, his brother, the king and all his entourage went for like a sightseeing, like a vacation, and then when they're walking kind of for some distance, the king was a little tired, so he was resting on a piece of rock. So all his entourage went ahead. So when they went ahead, they approached to that meditator. So he was meditating very calm, peacefully. So everyone is drawn to him, So all his entourage drawn to him and developed kind of devotion, sitting around to that great meditator. So then king was a little rested, and then he walked by himself, went ahead. And when king noticed all his entourage, ministers, queens, everyone, sitting around him, king, because he was a little tired, and then by this he was a little jealous. So they are not respecting to me, they are respecting to this one, who's just who's like a nothing in the forest. So because of king, his power, arrogance, and asked, "What are you doing here? What do you think who you are?" And then the meditator said, "I am practicing patience." And he hit on his head. Actually, there's a story, cut his limbs, but we say it's just easy to understand. Hit stick on his head, big stick on his head and shoulder, and asked again, "What are you doing here?" Said, "I'm practicing patience." Like that, 3 times. And then the king realized there's no any negative response whatsoever. Just the same as the beginning when he met. No matter how he tortured, beat him, And then the king apologized. "Through my arrogance, stupid, I harm you without any reason." And then the great meditator said, "You no need to apologize me, because I'm not upset, I'm not angry." And then what he said, the great meditator said, "I'm so grateful what you did, because you gave me the excellent opportunity to my practice of patience." He said, "No doubt through this practice I will achieve Buddhahood one day." So this time I practice patience, and now I give you these advices, but when I become Buddha, the first result of the enlightenment, the teaching, may I give to you, so that you will free from the samsara. So that's how to practice patience. The patience doesn't mean being weak. Sometimes people think patience means submissive, weak. This is a strength of the mind. Your mind becomes strong, courageous mind, no fear. See, that means ease. Make things easy. Ease yourself. Everything's just manifestation. They come and go. It's beautiful, isn't it? See. That's what it means, practice of patience. Not being weak, submissive. Even you are so angry, but you have no way to retaliate. You have no strength to fight against, That's not a practice of patience. It's a sign of weak. But here you may have every opportunity to destroy others who harms you. But you don't do it because of these reasons. Make sense? So that's also a practice of bodhicitta, you see. How to develop the courage, wisdom. See? 8. Investigating that all the Buddhas are pleased, as is said in the Shantideva's text, Bodhicitta Avatara. Furthermore, what way is there to repay the Buddha? So, Buddha was such a great object of offering, refuge, to please Buddha. What we should do? Say here, Who grant immeasurable benefit. He brought all these Dharma teachings, wisdom, compassion, practice, liberating countless sentient beings, See, and who befriend whole the world without pretensions. Buddha is the friend of every sentient beings. Every sentient beings are in the Buddha's heart. No one is left. Means Buddha concern all sentient beings in the samsara who are suffering. So that you see, other than by pleasing sentient beings. So when you please sentient beings, means you are pleasing Buddha. So see, look at this, because Buddha's mind is to all the sentient beings. When the sentient beings are happy, they are pleased, then you are making Buddha happy. You are making Buddha to please. So see how precious this teaching is now, you see. Just how to purify our mind. Now, the last one, investigating that it brings the great beneficial effects. As it said, for many who have pleased them have thereby reached perfection. See, what kind of benefit you get? See, by practicing patience, making pleas of the sentient beings, you get all the benefit, all the perfections. What do you need more than this? So saying, you just relax. Look at the benefits of the sentient beings. So this is about the practice of patience. Now, according to Shantideva's system, how to practice. So all Shantideva texts you see brought into such essence. Now through this your practice, we get some basic understanding of Shantideva's Bodhicitta Avatara. Today we are talking about the practice of patience. Okay. Now, now this is this. And the Bodhisattva Bhumi says this equal to the Asanga and Dharmakirti system. Okay. Practice patience by cultivating the 5 attitudes. So there's 5 different ways how to practice patience. The first is a perception of feeling close to the who harms you. How to bring the person close to you who harms you. 1. Perception that everything depends on interdependent conditions. Everything's, as earlier mentioned, everything's just interdependent, interconnected. Nothing is independent. 2, awareness of impermanence. Look at the impermanence of all phenomena. Through that we can practice patience. Perception of suffering. Look at everyone is suffering. You see, there's no one in the world that who wants the suffering. Isn't it? Everyone in the world, they desire to free from suffering. So look at that. And perception of fully embracing sentient beings in your heart. So bring all sentient beings into your heart and practice the patience. So how beautifully put this. Now explain it step by step. First is perception of feeling close to one who harms you. These harmful sentient beings, anybody who harms you, who hates you, who is being very aggressive to you. So that person say, in other lifetimes, that individual has been your parents, or your friend, or your brother or sister. Say, relatives, or a teacher, and you received countless benefit from him or her. Meditate that. Not only this previous life, even this life, sometimes this happens. Like few years ago, you have been very good friend to that individual. After some time, due to conditions, that person becomes your like enemy who hates you. So don't look at that only just a bad thing, only one bad thing. A lot of good things happened. Reflect on this. So they are saying, suppose there are 10 things there, and all the 9 are so good, only one is bad. So you're looking at the bad things, not looking at all the 9 good things, So say, open your heart, look at this. How much benefit you got. So transcend this one small bad thing. Overpowered by all the good things. No, so don't overpower all the good things by one bad things. Reflect on the good things as well. See, so countless benefit from him or her. Therefore, at this time, with this kind of harm, it is not reasonable to retaliate. So practice patience by bringing him into your heart. You see, him or her, bring into your heart. Practice patience means may that person have all the peace and happiness. May that person free from all the suffering. And then meditate, you see. Look at your mind that moment without thinking. You will feel so happy, relaxed, all the tension of the body released. And you feel so joyful without looking for the joy. So in your family life, in your kind of school, in your work, everywhere, when you practice this, be grateful. Second, say perception that everything depends on interdependent conditions. See, as earlier mentioned, everything depends on conditions. Nothing stands independently. For example, to live this body, we need all the four elements: the earth element, the water, the fire, the heat. See, they all are contradictory. You see, the air is very light, the earth is very heavy, the water is cold, the fire is hot, but they have to stay in one place harmoniously. So look at this whole world, there's a lot of problems, but we have to stay harmoniously. The way is practice of bodhicitta, compassion, wisdom. So it's interdependent, interconnected. So now he is saying, this person who harms you is dependent on conditions. That person is not independent, under the control of the other conditions, other forces. It's just a projection of phenomena, dharma. It's just a manifestation of many causes and conditions. No? Practice patience by contemplating that there is no self. The concept of self is not just a belief. Here, no self means through your investigate. So you say, I'm here. Now, what's you? If you ask, it's your head, says it's my head, my eyes, my ears, my nose, and becomes my mind, and there's no I, lost, you see. Make sense? So I is lost, now where? Now my hand, say all the finger, skin, bones, you investigate, hand is lost. Lost where now? Nowhere. It's lost to nowhere, but it lost. So it's called non-objectified state. There's no object to project. Something is independently exists. So that says everything is just manifestation. Manifested on the many causes and conditions. That's why it's called no self. It's not that we are not believing the self. If the self exists, why not we should believe? Since it not exist, what's the benefit to believe? So says no self. So sentient beings is not sentient beings also just interdependent life. Our life, person who breeds, beats, abuses or criticizes, everything's just illusion. Like if you go to the mountain, make an echo. You say, "Hoy," and the mountain will say, "Hoy." Just it's an echo. And you say, "Oh, what a good day." The echo will say, "What a good day," And when you say, "What a bad day," and it will echo will say, "What a bad day," It's just a reflection. So ease your mind. Relax your mind. See? That's how the saying. Because we desire for peace and happiness, this is how to get the peace and happiness. Release, let go our confusion. Let go all the cause of suffering. Third, awareness of impermanency. By nature, sentient beings are impermanent and subject to death. We all are in the state of impermanent. Look at this. Impermanence means not real, changing. One moment, I'm not happy. And in the second moment, maybe I'm happy. So the moment when I was not happy is not real. It's gone because now I'm happy. So it's called impermanence. Look at everything's impermanent. So practice this. This is called the practice of bodhicitta, you see. Therefore, practice impermanence by contemplating that there is no need to take life because sentient beings will die naturally. So if somebody is need to be killed, so you no need to kill. That person will die one day anyway, no? You are just spending billions of the money to kill some individual. But that person will no need to spend all those money. So that person will die one day anyway, no? It's a very stupid, So just relax and develop such a strong compassion, loving kindness. They will come later more on this practice, you see. Fourth, perception of suffering. All sentient beings are tortured by the three types of suffering. As you know, three types of suffering. Suffering of change, and pervasive conditional suffering. No. There's a suffering is very obvious suffering. When you get headache physically, or your stomach is not good, no, like those things. Mentally, maybe you're depressed, stressed. These are obvious suffering that you want to free from that suffering. Now, suffering of change, even though now it's so good, everything goes well, successful, you got a good lunch, relax, but that doesn't last long. So don't attach to that. Don't attach to the joy and happiness you have. Just look at this as nature of suffering. Means will change. Don't attach to that. So when you are not attached to that, when it changes, there's not much suffering. When you are so much attached to that, when it changes, a lot of suffering there. See, it's a side effect of the attachment. It's not suggesting you should not have peace and happiness. Of course, we should have peace and happiness, joy in the life. But attachment to that doesn't bring benefit. That's why don't attach. So you enjoy your life, peace, happiness, but don't attach. Then your mind is calm, peaceful. When suffering comes, it doesn't affect so much. when the happiness, joy comes, there's not so much excitement. So it's like a big river, very smooth, So look at this. So look at the suffering of at all different types of suffering. Develop compassion. See here saying, I should dispel these suffering, not established being in them. I should not establish the suffering to those people. My responsibility is to alleviate suffering from these people. I should not give suffering to those people, even those who are harming me. It's because my interest, for my benefits, just relax. See? Therefore, I should practice patience toward their harms by perceiving their suffering. The last one, fifth, perception of fully embracing sentient beings. When I cultivate bodhicitta, means I will attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. No one is excluded. Even small bugs, insects are included. That's what bodhicitta that I have cultivated. That's for my interest, for the interest of the all sentient beings. So I did it, I did it for the benefit of all sentient beings. Therefore, when I practice patience by fully embracing them, it is inappropriate to retaliate for small harms. If somebody says some negative word, you are so angry, upset, that's inappropriate. That's not right. So that's how to. Now these all are practice of patience when we encounter any individual who's harmful to us. So how to relax, how to handle things positively. So we say, as you know, we say this is Buddhism, but it's not really, it's a Buddhism, isn't it? What do you call this? Oh, say, how to comprehend, how to relate when problem comes wisely, skillfully, without side effect. Everybody has the opportunity. This practice can be practiced by anybody, isn't it? So look at this, so you appreciate, rejoice this. And since we are desire to free from suffering, how to free from suffering? So especially our afflictive emotions, how to purify. So this is how to, it's called, how to roast the afflictive emotions of chicken in the oven of the bodhicitta. It's good?
So this is the recipe?
That's the recipe, yes. Make a short break, okay.